Grand Rising family, it's Shay Seeking, and this is what I've been thinking. Now is the time to be very vigilant about things that are going on within our communities. I think people have been speaking on this ever since the slaughtering of American Aborigines that we noticed to see on the news, whether these events were, like I said, some type of coup or some type of psyop, or they really happened. The point is to take away the perception of, or to devalue the life of someone in the public eye, right? So this is nothing new to American Aborigines, so-called black people around the world, Aborigines around the world, okay? But I'm here, and so this is what we're talking about. On down to the fact that, oh, organ harvesting. Well, we find out that even though so-called black people are the smallest group of minority or people, supposedly, here in the Americas, who's being affected by that even more? Organ harvesting. Okay, so when we go down to the young girls that have been missing, okay, oh, there's so many missing children. So many children end up missing every day. Oh, then they segregate or separate and start posting things on mainstream media, okay, and other people are bringing, of course, awareness to it, but about the fact that these are mainly little black girls, so-called black girls, okay. Now we come to the corona outbreak, and um, from the beginning, we see in China that they're saying that it usually only affects males that are extremely heavy smokers. They add to it, well, they say males first, and then they add to the fact that the elderly males, and then they add to the fact that most of these people are heavy smokers, and it hasn't been really affecting the women. You go over to Italy, and it's just the elderly. But again, they've been having a problem with the elderly, so called, clogging up their uh, hospitals or the medical industry, and they've been having a problem with that. So lo and behold, more people over there are elderly that are passing away. I guess because they live so close to each other too, in smaller compartmentalized areas like buildings and different type of buildings where there's a lot of people that live within the buildings that are older. And then we make it over here to America, and it's just supposedly affecting older people. So, of course, some people are going to feel a little bit relieved and they may not take things so seriously. Then it comes to, okay, we're going to lock down things in certain areas across the land. And I showed you guys on the FEMA camp map the fact that it was funny that first cluster that was actually pretty much filled was the area where I reside in the Midwest, pertaining to Chicago and Milwaukee. Now, it's funny that we're going to have these problems here in Chicago and Milwaukee. They're making, oh, people in Milwaukee are not taking it serious, this, and that, and that. So that leads you to say, okay, so whatever's coming for them, subconsciously, they deserve it. We're not even going to pay attention because they haven't even been listening, is what the public is going to say when they hear it the way that the mainstream media displays it. But first thing on my mind is this is the area where you have the most so-called black populations in major cities that are really pretty close to each other. And, okay, in so-called, there's a problem with murders. Like I said, in my eyes, I do not feel like if you go to Chicago, okay, there's cameras everywhere on all the light posts everywhere. I'm pretty sure they have them in the so-called black neighborhood. I'm pretty sure there's a heavy police presence. But we always hear about black on black crime, but we never see it in action. There's never a clip. There's never a they never really come back around and tell you that they caught someone for the murder. They never really tell you about the solutions for these said problems. No one really is brought they don't, if they do catch someone for doing these so-called murders, which I think they're sending different types of militia like they've been known to do in history with our people. I think that they're, let's just say, even uh, forces, okay, that special forces, okay, that governing forces use, that come into certain communities on the low and do certain things, okay. And then you have it where with all these cameras, we're not catching anyone doing these murders. Do you see what I'm saying? All of these things that they have in place, and we just have all of these people dying every single day and all these shootings, and no one's being caught, nothing's being caught on camera. Okay, so you have the whole thing again, whether it was a psyop or not, with the Kanika Jenkins thing that went on, and there was some suspect things about that that happened. But the whole thing is, it was turning on this whole thing. One thing I did realize is that a lot of people that were not of color did not even really know that this had even happened. No matter if it was on the news, it's just kind of like everybody else's mind was shut off to it, and it was something that was pushed on the black community. So you want to think, is this something to make us fear, in some kind of way? Okay. Um, and keep us in a lower vibrating field. Okay. So then we move on to, like I said, no one's getting caught. So who's really doing these things? Supposedly there's guns dropped off in the city, but still no one's being caught. There's no images, there's no footage. No, they're acting like this is like a phantom Negro that is going around and shooting these people, and no one is telling, no one is, they're afraid to be in their community, but you're not gonna, if you know who it is, you're not gonna snitch. And then they try to act like if whenever they go in any so-called black community that no one wants to tell who it was. I really highly doubt that in some of these cases. So it's very suspect to me. So we come to this virus, and now everybody, let's not talk about when it comes to voting. Everybody's talking about voting, who you're going to vote for, Democrat, Republican. They're running their mouth on this mainstream media. Okay. But some point in time, they have to separate so-called black people and say, what are the black people going to do? What is the black vote? We're concerned. And they're able to actually come on this 2020, and they're actually able to use mainstream media in order to say, to separate or divide and put out. You don't put these people out on a pedestal when it comes to helping them, but anything that has to do with harming or said harm or giving the perception of harm, you're ready to display it all over the news. And it's just very mind-boggling to me, I think. Okay? And you want to worry about what the black vote is going to do with the black. And I say, if you are a American Aborigine or so-called black person, I say block the vote. Don't you vote for another motherfucker. And it's so bad in Milwaukee, right? But for some reason they opened up voting. They opened up voting for some people in Milwaukee to go and vote. I just don't know what I'm seeing here, but I just pay attention to little things in the background. Okay. When it comes to now, they're saying in Chicago, most of the people that are dying, which is a smaller portion of the population, are so-called black. And they want to bring up the fact that, look at the community. There's no good grocery stores. Listen here. You gonna wait. Studies have been done. These motherfuckers know you like the back of their hand. They have to know you because you are the only reason why they're able to survive here on this plane. Okay? You are the source, okay, where they've produced a idol or a some type of worship outside of self, while taking everything from us all the way up until now. And I don't give a damn what you say. The American Negro has been affected by everything that you can think that you can strip from a group of people more than any other group in the world. Why? the point is, they know who you are. You don't know who you are, and you don't know how to utilize the spiritual gifts that, for one, they forced religion on the ancients, okay, here in America and other places, in order to keep you from self spirituality. Call it paganism, call it heathenism, call it savagery, whatever those things are. That's what you need to go ahead and backtrack and look into to see, to find out how we can go deeper within oneself, especially at this time while we're on this so-called lockdown, because some shit is something is real funny. Something is something going on real damn fun. And we're going to get into a couple of things why I think that this could possibly be true, but I don't know. I can't see what the underlining thing is that they're actually doing, right? Because it's definitely some type of targeting going on. I just can't really figure out why, and I can't feel like this is something that is going to actually this time be something that is going to save us. But I do know that as a group of people, a lot of people are waking up and becoming in tune with self. So let's not just sit here and act like there's not a large group of us that's doing this, that's doing the research, that's doing the work, that's doing the core work on that's residing in a high frequency right now. And I think that it's enough of us, okay, that we are causing some kind of earthquaking or shaking. Okay, remember also around the time that these outbreaks and pandemics usually happen, there is a revolt of some kind. There is usually a war of some kind. There is a pandemic or a disease or dis-ease. And there are there's movement going around, okay, when it comes to these particular people. There's an agenda usually that they need to push forward when they do these certain things. Let's go all the way back to the syphilis thing with the study at the Tuskegee Airmen and others, right? Okay, so I usually get the perception of these people just being airmen. I don't even know what I was even thinking they were. Maybe some kind of military group or something that they did this test on. But we're going to read something right here in a second. So what I'm saying is, don't let even if this is going on, you cannot let this break you. You have to focus on self. You have to go within. And the thing is, there is no tool. There's no tool. There are tools, but there's no rule book. There's no way to do this. It's just something that a lot of you already have in you, but you've let other outside influences from people that don't give a damn about you. Never, ever. And you've let them indoctrinate you and your children for generations and fucking centuries, right? So, again, the religious aspect was forced. The religion was forced on our people, on the ancients back then, because they were afraid of the power that you held. Now, when we go into this whole thing about this corona, the corona of the sun, I was going to look more into this place called Corona, California. We come into the whole corona meaning some kind of crown chakra. We're going to go into it biblically possibly one day on here as to what might be being said. But the thing is, they knew who you were. You've never known who you were. See, but there is access now to that deeper spiritual area that we need to move into, that you need to have already been at least working on it. The rest of these people that are still in this religion and relying on a savior other than what's within them and their lineage and their DNA and their makeup, it's probably going to be the end for you. Because that means that you're still trusting these people an ounce to give you any type of help, when we have seen over and over and over and over again what that has led to for our people. And that means you don't give a damn about yourself, and you don't give a damn about your children if you're just walking into this shit thinking that there is going to be a positive outcome for you or your people. Something shady is going on, and I don't fear none of this shit. But at the end of the day, I know some of my people are, and I would like to offer you a thought to really start focusing on something deeper than this religion and these saviors that don't even look like you. And even if you want to go ahead and say, oh well, they made him look like that, he really looked like, it doesn't matter. Take the message, and if you can't aspire that into something that is going to help you elevate your mind or your status, then leave it alone. It have not been working. It will not never ever work for you, because this is the reason why they gave it to you openly and let you openly go and do it, because it does not have any type of power, and it will not empower you at all. It will keep you stagnant and waiting for someone that looks like them or someone else to get us out of this situation, and it has to stop. It has to stop, and you have to bring yourself to a heightened level of consciousness and knowing. We can call it Christ consciousness if you can't let go of Christ, but no, just like Jesus said, that it's in you. The temple is within you, for you. These people cannot access that type of elevation, so their temple is outside of them, and it always will be. But they need to convince you to follow the same the yellow brick road that they've been taking, which lifts them up just because of your lack of knowledge and your ignorance, and keeps you stagnant. Okay, so I don't even know if I'm going off track, but we're going to go ahead and listen to this real quick and see.